back here for another show here. Of course, this is a little special one tonight because this week is Super Bowl week, but it's also Duke, North Carolina week, too. So, it's a big week of sports for sure. Before we get into tonight's show, let's talk about some of the stuff that we talked about last week. Starting with, last week's college basketball games. And then after that, we'll make some bonus picks before we get into college basketball predictions in the Super Bowl. So yeah, that's on tonight's agenda for sure. Let's start off with last week's games. It was, of course, now we're in a new month. So yeah, it's officially February. Of course, we made it through, long January now. It's my favorite month of the year. So I'm excited about it. So let's start with last week. College basketball, you had the first game was Virginia Tech and Duke. Kind of a tough one to me because, I like Duke in basketball, and of course I like Virginia Tech in football, so it's kind of tough. I have good connection with both schools because I had cousins that went to Virginia Tech. And then my uncle from my mom's side worked at Duke. So this was a tough one for sure, no doubt. But I still picked Duke, and Duke won. So yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to be a tougher game. Just because, Duke has struggled at Virginia Tech. But Duke ran away late in the second half. But Virginia Tech did give Duke a run for the money. But Duke got the win. Made a road win. That's a huge one. Now, they got the big one now. Of course, they won last night with Boston College. But yeah, that was a great game. No doubt. It was. Because for a while, I thought, oh, God, Duke was going to lose the game. I actually was pretty nervous, I'll be honest. But thank God Cameron Boozer took over the game in the second half like he always does. Made some big shots. Also made an amazing dunk. Like a SportsCenter top 10 dunk. I mean, that was insane. He made some big plays when it mattered. And, of course, Duke comes out winning by 14. They actually cover the spread. Because I didn't think they were to cover that, honestly. I didn't think so. I didn't think that was going to happen. What's going on? Cheesy Draw Things. Thanks for joining in here. It's a big show. We got college basketball. You got the Super Bowl, and you also got some busy NHL hockey because, Yep, absolutely. We are talking about sports for sure. We definitely are. We definitely are for sure. You're in the right place. So yeah, Duke got the win. So it was like 74-58 or something like that, or 76. Yeah, they took care of business, no problem. I think it was 16 or 14-point win. So huge win for the Blue Devils in Blacksburg. Then you had Ohio State, Wisconsin. I picked Ohio State, and they lost. But thing is, I thought it was going to be back and forth, but Wisconsin pretty much cruised them, past them. Who do you think going to win the Super Bowl? I got to go with the Seahawks. That's what I'm going to go with. I mean, yeah, first of all, I'm a Bills fan because I'm pretty salty about the Bills not being the Super Bowl. But second off, I just think Seahawks are a more complete team compared to, like the Patriots. So, yeah, I got the Seahawks win the Super Bowl. This one. It's just because Sam Darnold, I like to see him get the win, finally get that Super Bowl after, everything else. So that's what I got in that one. But yeah, so Wisconsin beat Ohio State in a blowout, which shocked me because both teams were evenly matched. I thought for sure, the Buckeyes were going to win. That's what I really thought was going to happen. So the next game was Kansas and BYU. I picked BYU, and Kansas actually rolled, which really surprised me too. Cheesy draw. That's a good point too. Finally, the Super Bowl without the Chiefs. You got that right. That's the only positive thing about this year's Super Bowl. No Chiefs for once. That's the only positive part about this, I think. But yeah, despite all that, I think it's still gonna be a good game. Yeah. So yeah, Buckeyes with them. Of course, Kansas. Yeah, beating BYU. I mean, it ended up being 90-82, but they were dominating for a while. But BYU made it interesting at the end there. But yeah, Jayhawks rolled past them. Legend King, thank you for tuning in too. So that happened. Then the 6:30 game, I was at the game. St. Bonaventure versus George Mason. I was at the Raleigh Center for that game. It was actually televised. It was like alumni weekend or something like that. It was a big deal in my community. I don't know who Michael Turk is. Oh, Legend King, I am doing pretty good. Thank you for asking. I'm just glad to be on here tonight. So yeah, it was looking great. I mean, Biles was a big underdog in this game. You know, the spread didn't look like it, but they were, especially because George Mason was like 18-2 in the overall, and then like really solid in conference play too. That was like the second best team in the conference. So it was an exciting first half because we had a 8-point lead, and second half we were really in control. We dominated. We were up 16 at one point. Thanks to win the NBA championships this year. Honestly, you know, Thunder been the most dominant team, but it's hard to tell. It is really hard to tell this year. It's just there's so much parity on a lot of these NBA teams. I'm a Boston Celtics fan. I mean, last year we were supposed to win the championship for the second straight year, but Tatum gets injured, season-ending injury, and we end up getting knocked out of the second round. But doing pretty much talking about different type of sports, you know. That's what I'm basically doing. Yep, so that happened. But a bunch of players are doing insane stats. That's a good point. That is a good point. That's what the NBA's been, a lot of insane stats this year. So it'll be come playoff time. I'm really excited to see what the NBA does in the playoffs year. For sure. But yeah, I mean, my St. Bonaventure Bonnies were like, I think 16, I think it was. Yeah, they were up 16, and George Mason came all the way back, and we were up a few points. Giannis, Joker, cool, like the LA Lakers. Legend King, I actually am a Boston Celtics fan, but I don't mind the Lakers. I mean, Luka Doncic being there is pretty cool, you know. Him and LeBron, young and old kind of combination there. It's pretty cool. And Giannis, the Joker, and SG are going insane. That's a good point too. They are going insane this season. They are. Those guys, I mean, I wondering how they're going to do it. I'm wondering what Giannis' future holds. Is he going to stay with Milwaukee, or is he going to, you know, walk and go to another team? But yeah, of course, Frank Mitchell missed a few free throws for St. Bonaventure, and then Bonas lost. We let George Mason came all the way back on. Our coach slowed down the game. And yeah, that was heartbreaking for me being a Bonnies fan, living in Western New York, especially in my town, you know, because that's where St. Bonaventure's from, you know, only in New York, you know. It was heartbreaking to see them lose, especially being at the arena, a big game like this on national televised. So that was heartbreaking because we had that game won. We were up by as many as 16. So yeah, tough break for the Bonnies for sure. And that loss to George Mason. That's the second best team in the A-10. But remember, when they traded KD to the Raptors for that's. Oh yeah. I remember that happening. That's true. Of course, you had the 8:30 game too. I think it was it was Tennessee Auburn. Tennessee ended up winning like I picked. I mean, I'm 2 for 2 picking Tennessee games at the 8:30 slot of the college basketball season too. So yeah, that's my Tennessee. I mean, I gotta keep picking them more often. They also traded Trash Young to the Wizards. I cannot believe that one. The Wizards. I mean, there's been some insane trades. There's been a lot going on today and like last night. This trade deadline's been for the NBA. And then Gonzaga beat St. Mary's like I figured too. It's a great rivalry game in college basketball. That was the after dark slate. So yeah, those were your college basketball games from last weekend. Well, let's talk about the big event that happened over the weekend. The Royal Rumble. This is professional wrestling. You know, yeah, it's scripted, but it's pretty cool, you know. But Royal Rumble's one of the best pay-per-views up there, along with WrestleMania and SummerSlam and all that. Yeah, that's weird. It's unusual. It's unlike the NBA having LeBron not being the NBA All-Star game. It's unusual. This is the success he has. The way it sounds like, I think he wants to end his career with the Cleveland Cavaliers, just like the old days. I really think so. I think LeBron's getting towards the end of his career, I think. He's a great player, but I think he's starting to slow down more. I hope he ends it with Cleveland, though. That's his hometown. I want to see him end his career there. One more run with the Cavaliers. That's what I want to see as a basketball fan. So yeah, they had the Royal Rumble. Start with the 30 women's Royal Rumble match. And the entries were kind of good. I mean, it started with Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Two big women's superstars for WWE right there. A bunch of players are becoming unnoticed. Yeah, that is a fair point. A lot of these old players. That is a fair point. Yeah, Charlotte Flair. I mean, and Alexa Bliss were the first two in the ring. Then came Kiana James to SmackDown. So did Nia Jax. Yeah, Steph Curry too. That's right. Nothing much from Steph. Usually, he always puts up some insane stats each year. It's just crazy. It's been a decade, it's been a decade for these guys. Now they're starting to slow down. It's sad for our childhood. A lot of our childhoods growing up seeing Steph Curry, seeing a lot of LeBron James too. Getting towards the end of their careers. But man, they were so fun to watch. I will say, whenever they do retire, they're definitely be first ballot Hall of Famers, no doubt. And you had Nia Jax, who was dangerous. And then you had Ivy Nile Morale. And then Lola Vice from NXT was the first one eliminated by Jordan Grace, who came later, or Candice LeRae. That happened. Then you had Candice LeRae get eliminated by Jordan Grace. Well, she was on a tear a bit. Then Ivy Nile gets eliminated by Jordan Grace. But of course, Nia Jax gets eliminated by Charlotte single-handedly. Nia Jax, her size is just amazing. Very big, but just like very athletic too. Like, That's a big elimination just because, she was looked like one of the favorites to win the Royal Rumble for the women's side. But there's some other good ones, like Alexa Bliss got eliminated, which surprised me, by her own partner, Charlotte Flair. Her own tag team partner. That was a surprise. But it's every woman for herself. If you want a ticket to WrestleMania, kind of like this match is what's pretty much about a guaranteed championship match in the main event. And he had some other ones. Of course, the sixth elimination, it was Maxine Dupree getting eliminated by Becky Lynch. Then Becky Lynch got eliminated, but it was a controversial elimination. Her feet never touched the floor because you have to go over the top rope with both feet touching the floor. The only thing that touched, I think, was her ass and back that touched the floor, Her feet didn't touch the floor. Part of the rule book, 2 feet touch the floor, but I think it's part of it is scripted, but still. I feel for Becky Lynch. Getting her out of a chance at WrestleMania. Especially if she's going to hang up the boots in professional wrestling, Yeah, that happened. And Jordan Grace finally eliminated by Lash Legend. She really impressed me. Out of all the women in the Royal Rumble, even though Liv Morgan won, but still, Lash Legend impressed me. 25 minutes in that ring. Or actually, no, 30, but she lasted a very long time. She had a great run. That was very impressive right there, how she did in the Rumble this year. Kiana James got eliminated there by Raquel Rodriguez. Zelina Vega got eliminated by Julia. Then Chelsea Green got eliminated by Rhea Bloody Ripley, who was my pick to win the Rumble. Then Roxanne Perez gets eliminated by Rhea Ripley. Liv Morgan gets eliminated. Liv Morgan eliminates Natty or Natalia. That's like Julia gets eliminated by Lyra Valkyria. Then Asuka eliminates Kairi Sane. Gets eliminated by Kairi Sane. Then Kairi Sane gets eliminated by Io Sky. And of course, Asuka turns on her own partner. So yeah, you knew it was the end of the Kabuki Warriors after that turn of events for sure. Valkyria gets eliminated by Brie Bella. So that was a big return. Brie Bella comes back. She's in the Hall of Fame. Same as Nikki, but Nikki's on the main roster. But yeah, I didn't expect Brie Bella to come back. But yeah, that was a big return. That was the biggest return out of the women. And same as Tiffany Stratton too. And Bailey gets eliminated by Nikki Bella. So yeah, the Bella twins were just, it's good to have them back, have the reunion of them finally. And Kalani Jordan gets eliminated by JC Jane. Then another NXT. JC Jane gets eliminated by Sol Ruka. Sol Ruka is another woman that impressed me, another diva that impressed me in this Rumble. So yeah, that was another one that really impressed me. Nikki Bella got eliminated by Lash Legend, and so did Brie. Both the Bella twins got eliminated, so but it was good to see them back. And Charlotte gets eliminated by Lash Legend. So yeah, Charlotte gets out of there. So she was last year's Rumble winner for the women's side. And Io Sky gets eliminated by Lash Legend too. So like Lash Legend went off. The 25th elimination, Lash Legend would get eliminated by Rhea Ripley. I thought, oh god, I felt good. But then Raquel Rodriguez eliminates her. So yeah, there went my Royal Rumble, women's Royal Rumble pick right there. Then Raquel Rodriguez gets eliminated by her own partner, Liv Morgan. So yeah, that's crazy. We've seen a lot of turns here, but Sol Ruka really impressed me, but she got eliminated by Tiffany Stratton. And it came down to Tiffany Stratton, Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan eliminates Tiffany Stratton, and she is your new women's Royal Rumble winner for 2026. She will she'll be one of the main events of WrestleMania this year for the women. Get a guaranteed women's championship, wherever the championship of her choice. So congratulations to Liv Morgan. Then the second match, you had Gunther versus AJ Styles, and if AJ Styles lost, he had to retire from in-ring competition. This is a career-threatening match. It was a great match. I thought AJ Styles, he just kept battling. Everything Gunther brought to him, AJ Styles brought it back. Just took everything he's got. But Gunther, just like he did with John Cena, just like he did with Goldberg, they made him tap out, and another big WWE superstar retired by the hands of Gunther. They call him now the career killer. And God, it was just emotional. But he started his WWE career in the Royal Rumble in 2016, the Royal Rumble match, but then he ended it at the same pay-per-view by losing to Gunther. Who could stop Gunther? I feel like if you're any WWE legend, you're on notice. Put it on notice. Gunther's going to send them in retirement, just like Cena, just like Styles, just like Goldberg. I think it's going to either be Orton or Lesnar next. That Gunther's going to retire. One of those two. Maybe both. Who knows? But thank you, AJ Styles, for the impressive run of WWE. Starting there, with the Rumble. Of course, the battles you had with John Cena. I'm glad they got one more match this past year during John Cena's retirement tour. To see that, like World Championship runs he's had. Just amazing run. Great matches, including participating in Undertaker's final match. Thank you for that. I'm happy Undertaker won, but seriously, thank you for participating. It was a great match, even though it got changed because of COVID. But it turned out to be a great match. It felt like a movie. Thank you, AJ Styles, for your amazing run in WWE. All right, on the next one we had Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. This wasn't even that much. Sami Zayn battle. I was surprised me, but I knew Drew McIntyre was going to win. So he's still your undisputed WWE champion. And, of course, the men's Royal Rumble. It started with Obafemi, who's number one. The number two, Braun Breaker. I knew that because I heard about the pregame show that Adam Pearce announced that Braun Breaker would be the number two spot. So Paul Heyman was pissed, got in the general manager, Adam Pearce's face. All hell broke loose. He thought it was a conspiracy there. Then, as soon as Braun Breaker enters the ring after Obafemi entered, some mystery masked man attacked Braun Breaker, curb stomped him, and did the same similar moves that Seth Rollins did. But we don't know still who did it. But I really think it's Seth Rollins, but I think it could be someone else too. I mean, I don't know who caused it, but after that happened, Braun Breaker goes in the ring, gets eliminated by Obafemi in 10 seconds. So I'm starting to think General Manager Adam Pearce has it in for Braun Breaker. Because of the suspension. I feel like something's going down between those two, maybe. Or maybe it could be Chris Jericho, maybe it could be Logan Paul. There's so many to investigate. Who attacked Braun Breaker and cost him the Royal Rumble? But yeah, move on. Solo Sikoa gets eliminated by Obafemi. He was down in there, and then he eliminates Rusev, who was probably the shortest time of his Royal Rumble career. Then Rey Mysterio gets eliminated by Obafemi. Then Zack Ryder comes back. Comes back to WWE. He gets eliminated. He was on a roll. Mr. Iguana getting eliminated by Trick Williams. And El Grande Americano, the impersonator, getting eliminated by the original El Grande Americano. I think it's Chad Gable's the original one. I think the impersonator might be Alberto Del Rio. Maybe. But maybe someone else. Yeah, it was bizarre seeing that. Two El Grande Americanos in the same ring. Yeah, they both get eliminated. Original one gets eliminated by Trick Williams. Then Trick Williams would get eliminated by Cody Rhodes. Damian Priest gets eliminated by Royce Keys, who is a former AEW star, now in the WWE roster, but we don't know which brand he'll go to. He's gonna be a future too, the powerhouse there. Then Royce Keys will get eliminated by Big Bronson Reed from the Vision. He got not eliminated from the Rumble. Then LA Parka from AAA getting eliminated by Austin Theory of the Vision. Then Dragon Lee gets eliminated by Bronson Reed of the Vision. More Vision members keep eliminating people after another. It was just like, oh man. Then Austin Theory gets eliminated by LA Knight. The returning LA Knight for the first time since the Vision took him out of action. So I thought LA Knight was done. But then LA Knight gets revenge on Bronson Reed. He eliminates him. Ilya Dragunov gets eliminated by the Beast, Brock Lesnar. Won't expect the announcement he's going to be in the Rumble. So Brock Lesnar eliminating him. I think because Brock Lesnar went on a tear this Rumble. Then Rey Fenix would get eliminated by Brock Lesnar. He was less than 30 seconds into the match, Royal Rumble match. Rey Fenix. Then the powerhouse Obafemi, who really impressed me in the Rumble, getting eliminated by Brock Lesnar. And then Brock Lesnar gets eliminated by Cody Rhodes and LA Knight. He was on a roll. And then Cody Rhodes and LA Knight eliminated him. Cody Rhodes said he wanted to eliminate him, and sure as hell he did. Had a little help, but still, he eliminated him. Then The Miz, only the last 7 minutes, but yeah, The Miz gets eliminated by Roman Reigns. The Tribal Chief returns. Then LA Knight gets eliminated by Cody Rhodes. Then Javon Evans gets eliminated by my men's Royal Rumble pick, Randy Orton. And Penta would get eliminated by Gunther. Gunther competing in 2 matches, so maybe mad seeing Gunther in the Rumble again. Especially after retiring AJ Styles like that, you know. How the hell does that happen? Then Cody Rhodes would get eliminated by someone that was not even in the match. Drew McIntyre interfered and eliminated Cody Rhodes, costing him a shot to go to WrestleMania. You know Drew McIntyre doesn't want Cody Rhodes in the Rumble, but it's going to step a feud between those two at WrestleMania. That happened. Then Jacob Fatu gets eliminated by his own cousin Roman Reigns. Then Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso, also gets eliminated by his own cousin Roman Reigns as well. So Bloodline were just at each other. Then Logan Paul eliminated by Roman Reigns. Randy Orton eliminated by Gunther. So it's down to Roman Reigns and Gunther. Who was going to WrestleMania and ended up being Roman Reigns? Thank God. I did not want Gunther to win another match tonight. Thank God it was Roman Reigns. So the Tribal Chief back on top. Back in the main event of WrestleMania. He already chose his opponent, and it's going to be CM Punk in the main event of WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight title. It's been confirmed already. That'll be the main event for this year for sure. I like it. It's going to be a great match between those two. So yeah, I went 1 for 3 my Rumble picks. Not that hot. I went 3 and 3 my college basketball picks. But let's see how we do in this week. Before we do our college basketball picks, and before we do my Super Bowl pick, even though I already told everything about the Seahawks, but I'll talk more about it. Let's talk about, my bonus hockey picks. Starting tonight with the Canucks and the Golden Knights, 10 o'clock game. It'll be the last Canucks game before the Olympic break. So, the reason why this game's so big, I'm more of a Sabres fan, but the Canucks are my second favorite team, plus they're playing against the Golden Knights. I've had beef with the Golden Knights since COVID, during 2020. My buddy Max Garvin used to be a Golden Knights fan. I think he just did to piss me off. But it started during the COVID playoffs, and the Golden Knights ended their season there. And we had trouble with them in 2021, 2022 season, and of course, 22, 23. Thank God he's out of there, but now it's more personal now as a Sabres fan because I hate Jack Eichel. Leaving Buffalo, going to Vegas, winning a Stanley Cup, plus just dissing the fans. So yeah, I'm glad they play the Golden Knights every year, the Canucks do, because same division, but still. I'm taking the Canucks, of course. No problem there. That's my bonus picks. I'm taking the Canucks. That'll be their last game before Olympic break. And tomorrow, the big one, the Buffalo Sabres versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. Sabres looking to finish strong before they go on Olympic break for 2 weeks. But the good thing is, Tage Thompson will play for Team USA, and Stalin will play for Team Sweden. Lukin won't, but still. A couple of guys, our top 2 stars, will be in the Olympics. We'll still be in game shape, so which is a good sign. Yeah. I'm going to take the Sabres, of course. This personal, because I always hate the Penguins. She's Sidney Crosby. Actually, it's bigger now because my buddy Max Yard now left the Golden Knights bandwagon to be a Sabres fan. So I'm happy about that, but he lives in Pittsburgh, though. So, yeah. and he's going with the Sabres. So I'm gonna roll my Buffalo Sabres, of course. And they're gonna wear the goat head. So of course the goat head jerseys are just very dangerous. So I like the Sabres. This one, fuck the Penguins all day, every day. But now let's get into our college basketball picks for this week. This is a special week for me. It is Duke Carolina week. Pretty much this rivalry's been around for my whole entire childhood. This Duke Carolina one. Michael Jeff got me into it because he's a big Duke fan. So yeah, I've pretty much been a Duke fan my whole life. So I've been pretty much a fan my whole life. But yeah, now let's get our picks for the games this week of college basketball Saturday, starting with Syracuse at Virginia. This is going to be a tough one for Syracuse. I mean, you know how they end up coming back against Carolina, but Virginia, UVA is just too good, too deep of a basketball team. Unexpectedly good, UVA has been. If it was in Syracuse, it'd be a different story, but I'm going to go with the Cavaliers just because this is in Virginia. This is at Charlottesville. Tough place to play. So I got the Cavaliers. It's not being close, but I will give Syracuse credit, though. I'll talk about that. The reason why I'll talk about them because they played Carolina. But we'll talk about that later when they talk about the Duke game. But yeah. So I like the Cavaliers. I like the Wahoos in this one. Next, St. Bonaventure at Fordham. Battle of New York teams in the Atlantic 10. So this is always going. Of course, we already played each other once when I was at the Raleigh Center. Of course, Bonnie's lost that game. You know, I was at the Raleigh Center. I saw them lose. They blew that one, and then now in the Bronx. So Bonnie's are going to get the revenge. They're going to get the revenge on Fordham. I got St. Bonaventure in this one. I think they'll bounce back, including a heartbreaking loss to Dayton last night and a heartbreaker to George Mason. They need to really start winning out if they want to at least have a better seed than a 15 or a 14 seed in the A-10. We don't want to play the very first day of the tournament. No way. The A-10 tournament. No way. So I got St. Bonaventure this one. The reason why I picked to put in the next game is Binghamton, one of my college basketball picks this week because I'll be at there because I'm going out of town to visit my cousin who has got his final JV game. And they live in the Binghamton area, so I'll put them on my picks because they're playing at NJIT. But I'm taking Binghamton, of course, coming in the area. So if I pick against them, there'll be problems probably in that area. So I'll take Binghamton that one. And now the moment of truth. Duke versus Carolina. Finally, it's here. The rivalry game of college basketball. 6:30 on ESPN. That's a game you cannot miss if you're a college basketball fan. You just can't miss it. I'm being biased about that, but just like college basketball in general, you can't miss this one. Definitely a game you just don't want to miss. So yeah, Carolina. Bonds gave him a run for the money. Bonds played him tough for a while until the second half, but still, they gave Carolina a run for money. That's spot number one. Number two, they lost to both California teams. You know they're better now, but still, that's unlike Carolina. They've lost some tough ones. And this past Monday night, their last game they played, they were up 32 points against Syracuse and only won by 10. It shows Carolina are frauds. I'm telling you, the Tar Heels are fraudulent. They let Bonas play them tough for most of the first half. Some of the second half, but you know what I mean? You should have had the game won. You should have won by a lot of points against Syracuse, especially at home. But then again, you let Syracuse come all the way back. Syracuse had a chance to win even. If I were the Tar Heels, I'd be in panic mode right now. You know Syracuse lost, but I'm saying that's kind of a win for them to battle back and made it closer. They feel good about themselves the rest of the year, but still, Carolina, I'd be in panic mode because they got Duke next. And Duke, yes, they've obviously beat Virginia Tech, but last night they dominated Boston College, had no problem. They didn't blow leads like Carolina did, big leads like that, And Duke's been a dominant team. They're 20-1. Their only loss was at Texas Tech, and they're like one of the best in college basketball too, So I'm going to roll my Blue Devils, not just because after what I saw what Carolina did Monday night, Duke's going to blow them out. Duke's going to win by at least 20 or 30 points. Just because Carolina choked, even though they won by 10, but still, they were up by a lot more. So I'm taking Duke. It's not being close. Duke's gonna expose them. 8:30 is Tennessee, Kentucky. Another great SEC rivalry matchup here. That'll be fun. I mean, I'm 2 for 2 picking Tennessee, so I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna go with the Tennessee Volunteers.
Taxes was chasing updates. Now taxes.
And to finish it off, 10:30 on ESPN to finish off my busy day of college basketball. BYU and Houston. This is at BYU. Should be a great matchup. So this one I've had trouble picking all week. Usually I've been picking Houston at times. I really have, you know. And I picked BYU. I mean, both times I picked them in big Saturday games, they've lost. And I even thought they're going to beat, you know, Arizona. They gave them a run for Vegas. I mean, this is a tough one. Usually I'd pick Houston this one, but I'm going to go with BYU for some reason this week. I just see it because it's at home. Usually I'd take Houston, but they're still an elite team. This is such a tough conference, the Big 12 is. So I'm going to go BYU. Those are my picks for college basketball. Last but not least, let's talk about Super Bowl 60 this weekend. I am not happy with the AFC being represented by the Patriots again as a Bills fan. Plus, I think the Bills should be in it. I think it's bullshit the way that ended against the Broncos. Brandon Cooks caught it. I know it's been 3 weeks, but I'm not over it as a Bills fan. This Bills playoff hurts more than the Chiefs ones and some of the other ones in my time. This one hurts the most as a Bills fan, this playoff loss to the Broncos. Because we should have never been in the position, but plus, we shouldn't have turned the ball over 5 times, because if we didn't, we'd have an easy walk in the park. We'd have blown out the Broncos. So it really should be Bills Seahawks, not the Patriots Seahawks, but it is what it is. The Patriots have had the easiest NFL schedule. They're a good team, but they've had the easiest NFL path to the Super Bowl all fucking year. I mean, yes, they started out the year with a loss to the Raiders. That's a bad loss. They lost to the Steelers. You know, Steelers made the playoffs, but still. I mean, Steelers are my second favorite, but still. Their offense is great, but still. The Patriots turned them over 5 times, but the Steelers defense dominated still. Still, that happened. They've had pretty much a lot of their wins were against fired head coaches. Pretty much, majority of their years. So, and of course, the last time the Patriots lost the game was my Buffalo Bills. And Patriots had a 21-0 lead and choked that one. They played through so many easy opponents this year. Seahawks have had a good schedule. But yeah, they lost theirs, but they beat the Dolphins. But they beat the Panthers, though. But you know, Panthers in the playoffs. But yeah, as an NFC South team, they lucked out against the Bills. I mean, that was probably one of their only good wins. One of the rare good wins they had was the Bills. Saints, they barely won that one. Titans, they blow them out. They played the Titans. They're one of the worst in the NFL. Same as Cleveland. Atlanta's bad. Tampa Bay, that was a good team, though, at the time. They beat them. Then they had the Jets, of course. Then the Bengals, without Joe Burrow, but they lucked out in that one. They had the Giants. That was an easy one. But the last time they lost was the Bills, of course. And they had a 21-0 lead. And the Bills, Josh Allen came all the way back and beat them. Then they had the Baltimore Ravens, which they fired the crowd coach, but that was a good win still, I think. The Jets, they easily beat the Jets. And the Dolphins. And they had an easy playoff path, too, which drives me nuts. They played against playoff Herbert, who is terrible in the playoffs, never won a playoff game, turned the ball over so many times. It was just an ugly game there. Texans game, ugly as hell, too. And the Broncos one was snow, and plus they didn't have Bo Nix. So, yeah, it's like a Mickey Mouse Super Bowl run for the Patriots. Now let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks. During the offseason, we didn't know what they're going to do. They got rid of Geno Smith. He goes to the Raiders. All this happened when I was in Florida. My Florida trip. All this offseason stuff happened. We didn't know what Sam Darnold's future was going to hold. We didn't know if he was going to go to Minnesota or not because, you know, J.J. McCarthy. Plus, the Aaron Rodgers situation was in the way, too, I think. So Seattle signs him. This was at Disney, I think, when I found out. Or Epcot, one of them. Sam Darnold when he signed with the Seahawks. I was like, okay, that's a good move for the Seahawks. Then the also Cooper Kupp goes. So, yeah. Seahawks won all out this year. I didn't think they were in the. I didn't think they were in the playoffs even. I didn't know what to expect from Sam Darnold. You know, since he's not in Minnesota, I know what to expect from this man. They come out there, they lost to the 49ers. I was like, okay, it's week 1. And I thought for sure they're going to beat the Steelers because, you know, the fuck Wiesman game, you know, as usual. I thought the Steelers were going to easily win that one. But they proved me wrong. The Seahawks beat the Steelers, actually. Then they steamrolled the Saints. They had a good one with the Cardinals. They lost, but they had a high-scoring affair with Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. That was a great game. They beat a good Jacksonville team. Although they lucked out in the Texans game because they turned the ball over 4 times against the best defense league in the Texans. Then they had a hell of a first half against Washington. No problem in that one. Arizona, they dominated. They lost a heartbreaker to the Rams the first time they met. A lot of turnovers, but still, they had a chance. They beat the Texans, but it was closer than expected. Then Sam Darnold got his revenge on his old team, shutting out the Vikings. Of course, J.J. McCarthy wasn't even playing, though. They had a third-string quarterback in there. They easily beat the Falcons, but they almost lost to an Old Man Rivers. They barely beat Old Man Rivers. That's the NFL for you, though. But then, what really got the momentum going for the Seahawks was that epic game with the Rams. The epic 16-point comeback win to beat the Rams in overtime. That's what got them the 1 seed. That's what got them the West. And then they beat the Panthers, no problem. And then their defense dominated the 49ers. I was watching that game. My buddy was a Seahawks fan, you know. But then playoff time came around. They steamrolled the 49ers. Worse than the last time they beat them. That was a complete domination there. And then the last time they played, NFC Championship game, Sam Darnold had the game of his life. NFC Championship MVP, 346 yards passing. I mean, I thought the Rams were going to win at one point, but man, Seattle shows why they've been the best team all year. And that's why they're in the Super Bowl. It reminds you of 2014-15, Seahawks Patriots again. But it's a little bit different. This kind of reminds you of the 0-1 Patriots. Everyone doubted them when they played against the greatest show on turf for the Rams. They were 14.5 point underdogs, and they actually surprised us. Tom Brady winning his first Super Bowl, beating Kurt Warner, the Rams. But it's gonna be a great game. But I'm still kind of like, I'm looking forward to watching the game. But I'm still at the same time like, still butthurt about my Bills, you know. But I'm gonna roll with the Seattle Seahawks. This game might not even be close. Maybe it could be, but Patriots are getting exposed by the Seahawks team. They're just so complete. And plus, I want to see the Vikings fans suffer, you know. I mean, the Vikings front office got rid of Sam Darnold. They should have kept him. Even Justin Jefferson said it. It would have been better off if he had Darnold, because they would have been in the Super Bowl. If Sam Darnold would have stayed in Minnesota, they would have been in the Super Bowl. Sam Darnold, turned his career around last year, and now he's in the Super Bowl. And I hope he wins it. Not because that shit, but just because he's been through hell and back with the Jets, the Panthers, the 49ers, all these teams, and now he finally made it to the big times. I'm a little jealous because he made it before Josh Allen that draft class, but still, good for him. It's been a hell of an underdog story. So, give me Sam Darnold. He's not going to see any ghosts this Sunday. He's winning that Lombardi Trophy and winning the Super Bowl MVP, folks. Thank you all for tuning in for the Super Bowl edition. I hope you enjoy your weekend of college basketball. You know, whatever you do, but more importantly, watch the Super Bowl. Yep, Drake, easy schedule made, Jacob Spears. That is correct. And they're getting exposed by those Seahawks. So yeah, definitely enjoy the Super Bowl, folks. We'll find out who wins it next week. We'll be talking about it next week for sure. Enjoy though, for sure.